Good evening, everyone. Uh, good evening, good evening. As usual, Maza's okay. Coming on live this evening, being Tuesday, the 14th of July 2020. I'm going to make it brief. As the title already suggests, you can see what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the corruption in the Niger Delta in the NDDC. You know, I cannot mince words to call the NDDC a house of thieves. You know, this is an agency that was created because of many years of agitation within the Niger Delta region to help develop the region. But it has become nothing but a house of rogues, house of thieves. You know, we criticize the federal government. Some of us call out the federal government, but I think, listen, people, we need to have a rethink. Yes, federal government has their own part, but, you know, think about it this way. Everyone is focused on Abuja, all eyes on Abuja, and they make you think on, have your eyes on Abuja. But at home, the home front is not covered. You have thieves. There is no other way to say what is happening. Thieves, as in the way you know thieves. This is what they are. Thieves. Being in office to do nothing but to steal. How did we get to the point where we have generational thieves? Be it that, recently what we hear is that the minister of the Niger Delta is being accused of fraud. Now, he goes on and accuses the former director of NDDC of insubordination. And that is where sometimes, I have to come in defense of women here, because I was quite alarmed when on Arise TV, the minister was asked about, what the woman actually did. And what the minister could say was that insubordination and that she married 4 husbands. I mean, come on, that is arrant nonsense. Is this problem that we have with the women folk in Nigeria, that the men somehow look down on the women, that whenever a woman argues properly, then we see that online a lot, that it's easy for women to say, oh, she's a shower. If not, who cares? For Christ's sake, I don't care if she has married 50 husbands. Who cares? Who does it help? Let her marry 200 husbands. As long as she is the one divorcing the husbands, that means she knows what she wants. So if you can't get to the point, then sorry, you're a goner. But here we are. Men are just, rather than coming and defend themselves, all you hear, when you hear the humongous amount of money being exchanged, that you hear, he told me to exchange these millions of dollars, exchange so money in dollars. What is this madness about dollars? What is it that, this is a government that ought to fight corruption, but what we have is corruption, growing wings, growing legs, growing, armpits, growing everything growable. It is madness. How can this, man, I just sometimes I think about these things. I mean, it just gives me headache. Your own people. We're not talking about develop somewhere else. You are from the Niger Delta. This agency was created for you to develop yourself. What level of self-hate would drive a man not to do anything to better himself? What level of self-hate would make a man to loot himself? I mean, I don't know if you people will see what I see. I was watching the woman. She granted the first interview, even when she was just making, making those allegations, and when she was not allowed to speak, because she went to the Senate to testify, according to the report, and I think she came late. Well, she utilized the opportunity to speak to people outside. And what happened? Even we can see scruffles. People were trying to fight each other to stop her from talking. Why? If you're not afraid of anything, why would you stop her from talking? This is nothing but a criminal enterprise that we run in this nation. And the one that actually got me really, really angry are those students that they've sent abroad. How can you send students to study abroad on scholarship? You get fund to go and see them. Already the fund, you're supposed to go and see them in September. The fund is already approved now. But you don't you stopped paying their money since January. What kind of a father? Now, this is not the North or Fulani or anything doing you. This is you doing yourself. How silly can you be? How silly can you be? And we are in a national TV arguing about this on a national TV. And I asked myself, okay, let me play this clip for us, because it might appear that some of us might not understand what I'm on about here. Let's play this clip, so we understand what the whole point here is, because this is insane. There is no clear definition of insanity as to what I have seen happening in this place. Watch.
So please be calm, and because all this it doesn't help you. Calm down. If you want to do, if you want record, come. You sit down. We will show you. We will explain to you, and that's what we told them in the Senate. We have nothing to hide.
Doctor, I raised this allegation. Why didn't you show records? I will just sit down.
We are going to show you records.
I raised the allegation. You know, our office here in Abuja. Establish
I should come to your office.
No, it's just to send for us that.
Have you listened to me? Officially. If you have a problem, write to me. Write to the NDDC. This is what we have noticed. Then we will reply you. We'll invite you. I'm a civilized man. I'm a soldier of truth. I'm a promise keeper. I'm a man that I respect people. I respect, at your age as my younger brother, I respect you. I will not in any way do anything to disrespect you. So if you ask for explanation, I will give it to you. All right. That is why today, the type of politician I am, I'm a soldier of truth. People might not like it because I tell you the truth. I don't look at your face. I tell you what is going on. And and that once I tell you,
all right, we have to leave it at that. We have to leave it at that. Dr. Kari Ojugbo,
thank you very much.
The Executive Director of Projects at the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. And Mr. Kolawole Johnson, thank you so much indeed for joining us. Of the
you cheated me, you didn't give me time. You gave Doctor all the time. Okay.
Thank you. I will never cheat you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But before we go, I'd like you to understand that journalism is about the truth. No matter what and no matter how, we try as much as possible on channel television to get to the bottom of the truth. And that's where we stand on this program. Thank you so much, everyone.
Now, this is a case of people being invited to talk about. I'm going to get another video actually that explains what actually played out there. This is a case of people being invited to explain and to give, to talk about their stewardship. Now, the video that I'm looking at is the most painful part, because this is a video clearly where he was trying to defend himself. Okay, trying to defend himself. Then I have another video where even the governor, the former governor of Akwa Ibom, was being accused of, getting into Dr. Joi Nunieh, and you think to yourself, I mean, this is, I have no single iota of doubt. There is no reason why I should doubt the woman. Okay. And here you have someone, telling you that I slapped Abia. And you think, people, what is happening? Do you believe that she can actually do that? That she can just slap Abia for slapping's sake, or that she never said that? Right? Now watch this clip here. You understand what I mean? And she said it herself.
Only Ogoni woman, the only Nigerian woman that has slapped his face.
Why did you slap him? Why did you slap him?
He slapped him because of his plan B. He thought that he could, since he couldn't get me to take that money, he thought that plan B, if it could come up on me. He didn't know that I'm a Port Harcourt girl. Port Harcourt girls ask me money. I say, telling me that she made me a substantive MD. The Port Harcourt girls.
We can't lost her a slap. What is the plan B? He came up on you. What exactly does that mean?
We were having a meeting. Akpabio's meeting with me is either in Apple or at Marian or whatever. Those are his meetings. I slapped him.
Well, Joy, are you accusing Senator Akpabio of attempted rape? Is that the point you're making? Or sexual harassment?
Harassment sounds better, not rape.
Okay, so you're accusing him expressly of sexual harassment?
Yes, I am accusing him.
Okay, so you can see what she is accusing. You can see what she's accusing Senator Abia here. Right? Hold on, sorry, what's...
More rumbles in the Odo State politics as the government denies being disqualified from the race by the impeachment saga and the suspension of the members of the House of Assembly generates more trouble.
Something gone wrong here. Hold on a little bit. Let me fix this. I think I have something gone wrong. Hold on. Okay, so here, as you can, as I rightly said before, here you had a woman saying that she slapped the senator. She slapped the senator. Now, the video I was looking for before is this one, where you have someone saying that obviously it's, or rather the young ones that were meant to go on the young ones that were sent to go and study abroad, and they could not pay for them to do the things they've been accused of commingling. Now watch this.
Well, let me get your final word because we need to move quickly. Please, if you can give your final word in about 50 seconds, please. 50 seconds. Nigerian students under the scholarship of NDDC are dying abroad. Now, NDDC, this present IMC are busy paying themselves. Now, let me give you specifically. On the 17th of April, around 1624 GMT, Dr. Cairo paid himself money due to students.
You see, look, now this man is talking about these things with figures, and these are people we need to protect in this nation. He's giving time. He's got the facts here. When this payment was made, okay?
Postgraduate scholarship for students into his account number 100.
Okay, we have bankers. You see, sometimes you think, what is happening? What a nation. This man is making this allegation with account number, giving you the details.
28409.
It's giving you account number.
He also paid himself again into his UBA account number 10022906165. This money.
So you all have your internet online banking. I mean, this is where the citizens come in here. Are these things lie? Can you, for once, verify if this account number in UBA with your online or internet banking if this account actually belongs to him. If it's true, then why is the security operatives, why is the government not interested in looking into this matter? And it's not a laughing matter. You can hear him there laughing. And we are talking about serious issue and people are laughing. And sometimes you feel like smacking somebody because this is unbelievable.
Due to students abroad and they are paying themselves. I can read to you other staffs who got payment. I can read to you staffs who got money from contractors. One by one, the dates they got them. I have them. See, Shem, I am ready. I pray that the House will have the guts to give us live hearing. Nigerians will hear a lot. I want to open all the can of worms. Now I am ready.
Okay, now again, he's saying that he's ready. My issue here, and I want us to, stay on this issue. You send students abroad, and that is the reason why I'm doing this. You send students abroad. Now he was laughing, thinking, oh, people wouldn't know. You sent students abroad, and what were you doing? Nothing. You can't even pay. These guys, some of them are in Scotland, and you can't even pay their tuition fee. I was able to track one of them down yesterday, was hoping he was going to join me, but he said he had other engagement with other media houses. If not, I would have had him today. Look at him here and listen to him and hear him out. Because this is the thing is, it's sometimes I'm shut off for, but listen to him.
Good morning, fellow Nigerians. My name is Olukayode Olubemi. I tweet with the Twitter handle Omotakafiala. I am a Master's of Law student in International Commercial Law with professional, that's international arbitration skills at the University of Aberdeen, United Kingdom.
Okay.
So I am doing this video to put a face and a voice behind the tweets that we've been making over the failure of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to pay the scholarship funds of over 200 students.
Okay, look at it here. Over 200 students. Over 200 students. He's saying now he's a beneficiary. You see, the reason why it's good to stay with facts, it's not about, coming online saying, oh, this person did this, the other person did the other one. But here you are, we are talking about these things and we have individuals. And I endeavor in my program to fish out the individuals and speak to them. And if I can do that on my personal capacity, what is holding the government from doing same? A government that says they fight corruption. And these individuals, you haven't paid them for so long. Now listen.
They are abandoned in the United Kingdom and other parts of the world. As you would see from this letter that I'm showing you, this scholarship.
You can see I post that. Let me see if I can expand that probably. And if I can, and let me see if I can expand it a little bit, and you can honestly, it's nothing but a criminal enterprise. So you can see he's showing his own letter as well. He's showing it. Yeah, you can see that for yourself.
On July 29, 2019.
July 29 last year, 1 year.
The scholarship would have been 1 year old. However, the commission has failed vehemently to pay our tuition. If I could.
Now, tuition is the school fees. They are not able to pay common school fees that they agreed to. It's not that the money is not there. The money is there. But these adults, they have their own children abroad as well, are busy taking these monies. These adults.
Background. After the scholarship was awarded in July 2019, scholars were meant to be paid a sum of 500,000 naira to assist with visa and ticket cost. That money was not paid until so much noise on social media in April 2020. So which means that all of the scholars who are in the United Kingdom at the moment had to use personal funds, some loans from banks and institutions, to be able to put themselves through to the United Kingdom. Apart from that, the scholarship a sum of 30,000 United States dollars, which is supposed to cover the tuition and living cost of scholars, have not been paid. Now, while some scholars resumed in the UK in September, some others resumed in January. For those who resumed in September, at the moment, they are finalizing their dissertation.
Oh, there, Sami said, corruption is fighting back. You guys, the nation is a nation of jokers. No one takes anything serious. Corruption is fighting back. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sometimes I mean, Newe Otibu, you're watching me from Vienna. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. So you can see this thing. This is. I mean, these are young people. If we had no intention of training them, there is no reason to send them to study abroad. Many of us studied abroad, but that was on our own volition. That was on our own, on our own capacities. But here you have people you have sent abroad, yet you cannot cater for them. Not that the money to cater for them is not there. It's just that we have thieves, ndori, ole, people everywhere in all strata, trying to thief, trying to steal, all they know how to do is to steal. Nothing more. Where do you begin? Young chaps, look at the young man here. Huh? The young man here telling you his stories.
Are preparing to complete their studies in December. Either ways, about 7 to 11 months of studies have gone on without tuition being paid. Not only are the schools frustrated, because the NDDC has even refused to acknowledge or respond to any of their emails, they are tired and have started transferring tuition debts to students. In all of this, the commission...
Do you know the criminality? Do you know the criminality of sending somebody and the institution? And again, if you pay attention in the previous video, the man was laughing, saying that the reason why they had those payments already made is that they need to go and talk to the schools. You have your payments, your ESTA codes to go talk to schools that you haven't paid the school fees to. I mean, do they think they talk to kids, or what is normally the content of their brain to think that they are talking to children, or what?
Huh? To the plight of scholars.
Look at
Channel TV yesterday, and as we have been hearing over the course of the week, the executive director of projects, Dr. Karo Ojobo, mentioned that the commission had, awarded certain funds to themselves when they were supposed to attend the graduation ceremony of scholars
in September.
In the United Kingdom. The fundamental question is, how do you attend the graduation of the scholars that you have not paid their
Exactly.
tuition?
Bless you, young man.
That aside, you want to attend the graduation of the same scholars that since their resumption in September and in January, you have not made any official communication with. Not a single email. When the coronavirus pandemic started, not an email to even acknowledge the delicate situation that scholars would have found themselves in. Not only that, but the scholars, in order to eke out a living, and in order to be able to pay outstanding bills, endanger...
You see, the challenge, and that's, the reason why all of us must actually act and begin to lend our voice, the reason why I do this, it's not that I don't have any other things to do, but we must lend our voice. Listen, on a normal good day, this is summer when students, normally that's, if you study abroad, that's when you have time to work on summer holidays. Summer holidays starts next week. But this year, they can't do anything. All the restaurants they could walk in, all the bars, everything is shut down. There is nothing for them to do. And here we have men, heartless men that cannot do the needful the basics. If the argument was that by the time we granted you scholarship, we said we will give you £1,000 or £500, but based on exchange rate, we will only to give you 380 out of 500 or 750 out of 1,000. Then it will make sense. You can juxtapose that to, the fact that there is variation in exchange rate, and now you beckon on those children to live within their means. But just the basic you could do for them is even their hostel accommodation and their tuition fee, and none of them you've done. What manner of a father are you people? Don't you have children? How can you people be behaving in this way?
To continue to work at care homes during this pandemic.
You can't even work in care homes.
Not 2, not 3 or 4 of our scholars have had to do coronavirus tests at different points in time. While a large number have been lucky, one of us was not so lucky when the person actually contracted the virus earlier in May and had to self-isolate.
Anyway, that is on the side of, where you have people, on the issue of not paying scholarship. Now you have here on this video, the video I was looking for before, where you have on this woman that I said that nothing should happen to her. Listen to her, and I think many of you must have seen the video from Arise TV. Yeah.
He makes any payment in NDDC without God's will, Akpabio's approval.
Some people are saying, is it love affair gone sour?
On the day of going for the inauguration, he told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to tax to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that.
So why the madness about dollar every single time? It is about dollar. I heard he wants to run for presidency, and because of that, so everything is about dollar. You see, he wants to run for presidency, and everything is about dollar. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Just like they did in 2011, suddenly you hear that Akpabio begins to answer Akpabio Chinedu. It's after all, from nowhere, we suddenly had Ebere Jonathan, rather than Goodluck Jonathan, he answered Ebere Azikiwe, or Nanda Ayet Ebere Azikiwe. So all this rigmarole they do is it not Chief Chibika Amechi that is now saying that well, Igbos are very accommodating. So if you say you are Igbo, then they would they have a large heart. But all these ping pong games has to stop. When I call it what it is, I don't bloody care. These people, all I can say is we have thieves everywhere. Thieves everywhere.
After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after the inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory.
Man, it's
and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator Nwobushi for collecting.
So you see, all of them, they are fighting dirty. It's just that some people have argued that Niger NDDC should be scrapped. I don't think I buy into the idea that NDDC should be scrapped, because you can't throw away the baby with the bathwater. You can't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Now, I'm going to play us, in conclusion, a video that is a reflection of the Nigerian system, and as a result of the whole thievery that is ongoing. Look at it. You see, all these things, when they commingle this morning, they hurt you. They hurt you and I. We don't have good roads to drive on. We don't have good roads to take our goods on. We don't have security. We send our security to them. They guide the security that's supposed to guide you and I, your mother, my mother, your child, my child, would be guiding only them. The roads, they have the best of the SUVs. That's why they cannot buy innocent, because they think it's an insult to them. They are all the same, all of them. They are all the same. And in this video, you will see what I'm talking about. Because the money for this road is not that there was no money budgeted for this road. I think this is Lagos. But when you have thieves everywhere in the Niger Delta, in Lagos, everywhere, Lagos, APC, Lagos is ACN, APC, isn't it? Is AAC, ACN, APC. It's the same thing, one form of government for the last 21 years. The last 21 years, one government, yet Lagos State cannot finish the light rail that they should have done in 3 years. The one that goes from, I think, Alaba to Koka. They can't. Madness everywhere, yet everybody's fixed in Abuja. Because they want you to be so fixated in Abuja. There is no state in Nigeria that has local government election. And if there is no local government election, invariably what it means that the state government control 48% of the total money generated in Nigeria. 48%. Now include the internal generated revenue, then they have more than the federal government. Yet we are so fixated in as much as, yes, it is, anything short of absolute dismemberment and dissolution and probably a case of Aburi Accord where we have a confederation, because a mere restructuring of just looking at the exclusive list wouldn't cut it for me. A restructuring of where we go back to the Aburi Accord of 1967, where regions must be semi-autonomous. They should have Western police for the Yorubas, the Eastern police or the Southeastern police. I don't bloody care what the nomenclature is irrelevant. But this humongous over-concentration of power in the center does not help no one. And that's why you can see something like this happen. Bear in mind, this is somebody's goods. Look, this is somebody's goods. Imagine this container has some perishable, something. Let's say this container was loaded with glass. Let's say this container was loaded with exotic cars. Normally, if it's exotic cars or if it's spare parts and cars or anything you import, normally they can put 2 cars on the floor and 2 on top. They can hang 2 cars. Now, imagine where that is the content of this container. Now, who are you going to get ready? It is time that we'll begin to sue the government, because whoever is in charge of this road maintenance or whatever the state government should be made to pay times 50 of the cost of the content of that container in order to hurt them so much. Imagine a situation whereby if a policeman misbehaves, the police will pay dearly for shooting an innocent citizen, or that if something like that happened on the road, that the state government or be made to pay humongous sums of money, then they probably will wake up. We must begin to add value to the things we do, not only just because we are Nigerians and everybody just keep quiet. They are treating you like you're not human or that you're subhuman, and everyone is keeping quiet. Look at it. See, That is somebody's content. That's it. That's it. And everybody's laughing. And everyone is laughing. That's madness. Everyone is laughing. Huh? Now imagine for 1 second that this is your consignment. Suddenly you have an extra cost in your head. You're not talking about your damaged goods. That is no longer your issue now. At the same time, you are going to be dealing with your damaged goods. You're dealing with damaged goods. You're dealing with extra payments to go and get trucks to come, another forklift or crane or whatever to come and lift that good there. And you think the cost of doing business. And they tell you the ease of doing business. The other time, someone said, "Oh, you can register a company on CAC online." Just absolute nonsense. Have you ever tried it? It doesn't work. They will still want you to go through the normal way of old conventional way of doing it through lawyers. How can a system be so overburdened? The challenge I have is that the federal government is a catastrophic failure. The state government are greater failure. The local government are, there is no word to qualify them because they are non-existent. You only have cronies. You only have cucumbers and carrots at that lower cadet of governance. Like I keep saying here, there is no local government in Nigeria with a functional basic toilet. Something you could fix with 200,000, something you could fix with $500. Let's just put it that way. A functional toilet. Even states, because there are states in Nigeria, you do borehole with 150,000, 200,000, because they are just water. Lagos, some states, some areas. A functional toilet, a common functional toilet. Yet the same man that cannot have a decent functional toilet will be driving an armored SUV. We'll be moving with fleets of security men, convoy. Man, that nation. Let me take some of your comments, people. Unfortunately, that's Anthony Ola said, unfortunately, Nigerians have been unable to connect the dots. They don't realize that that their suffering is directly connected to nepotism, cronyism, and corruption of their government. God bless you. Because that is it. You nailed it. Because, look, some of you, sometimes I don't get it. Some of you, all you hear now is, oh, Tinubu is going to contest. Tinubu is going to contest for president. I mean, are you people, do you have not that is not right in your head or in your brains? A man with a government, this is not any other person, with a government that did not allow Igbos to vote in Okota, in Munshin, in Oshodi. A man that cannot finish with his own government, that cannot finish basic light rail that should have taken 3 years when they even the money was expanded by more than 100%. Yet the only nation look, now we are talking about closing third mainland bridge, and you ask yourself, are you people okay? Is something wrong with our brains? Must everything fall apart before you fix it? Are there nothing like routine maintenance? Imagine this bridge. I don't know. Imagine this is London Bridge. Imagine this is San Francisco Oakland Bridge. You just close it for how many months in order to do repair work? What is it? because the way I see others think is, it's either they close one lane while the other one is being repaired. They, you know, so at least you reduce your speed. If you normally do like 120, 150 on the third mainland bridge, because it's now being one lane is being used, the other one work is being done on it. People could, you know, they can reduce the speed to maybe 50 maximum, 50 kilometer per hour on that lane because work is ongoing. But here, you have a nation full of educated morons, people who cannot solve basic problems. And I must keep using the example until it sinks in. How you know a functional home. You just want to know how dirty somebody is when you come to somebody's house, go to their toilet. It tells the story. You don't need to go to the bedroom, go to their toilet. If you come into an airport, go to the toilet. It will give you a glimpse of how how serious the airport is. The same thing is when you come to the offices, go to the toilet. Any local government that cannot give women a functional toilet for them to sit down, not standing, sit down. I don't bring men into the equation because men, all they do is just to have one urinary. You know, they stand up there and do their businesses. Most times, you turn the what's it called, the tap. The tap does, you know, normally they have those ones, the round ones. The top does. Now, in Nigeria, to get an automated soap dispenser that can use battery, or even if it means run solar on it, that will cost you less than 100,000 is an impossibility. Common soap dispenser that, you know, in my own house I have it. It's battery, two AAA batteries. They sell them in shops. You know, I'm just saying 100,000 because we are criminals. You buy them, put it there, somebody can stick it in their pocket. But buy the one you can screw in the wall. Soap dispenser, so that you minimize contact. Put your hand, you wash your hand. And the same thing applies to the taps. No, but hey, why would they give you who are you? Who are you to come and enjoy what big men? Who are you? A nation where every single idiot is driving SUV meant for farmers. Are you not ashamed? Why? Because you're unable to fix the road. Then you move on to buying bigger cars. One person will have one car, will have 5, 6 cars. Put them. We are not, listen, even you watching me, we're not serious to take over we're not serious to take it. Because how can you have 3, 4, 5, 6 cars? Are you mad? You have a family. Your wife drive one car, you drive one. That's it. That's it. Because you know what? Until we begin to tax cars, if you buy SUV, I have no issues with you buying SUV. Buy SUV. I'll tax you 500,000 per year, or maybe depending on the range. If it's new one, then you pay maybe $1 million every year. Go to Norway and buy a common Volvo SUV. Then you understand what I mean. You have to pay tax. You buy the first car, the second car, the third one. Third car, you pay 150% tax to reset our brain. But here we are. All we argue is fuel subsidy, no fuel subsidy, because we are subsidizing the rich. How many fuels, apart from our generators that we use that make noise all the time, giving us headache, what else do we need? What else do we use? Some that can afford it go off grid, buy solar, but that is very expensive. And these are things you should be expecting to see in local governments. Because with 1.5 million only, with 1.5 million, you can get at least about 10 to 14 panels with about 6 batteries that can at least power these things. power these things, not air condition. No, but at least normal fan, basic light that people can put their charge their phones. Have you come to a local government that can provide you service? Have you seen that? That can have, all you know is, we need to type this thing. You go across the road. Aren't you people ashamed? And yet we have NDDC. NDDC, madness is happening everywhere. You go you go to the same NDDC, to the same Niger Delta. You see those where oil is taken from their backyard, living in abject poverty. And their leaders are flying private jets, own private jets. What is their job? The job of the person that owns private jet is that he was an ex-governor. Jesus Christ. That is the job of a man who owns a private jet. That the only thing he has done, that he was a ex-governor. And we clap for them. Wallah, yeah. Thunder will go fire Nigeria. They do. I wish the thunder is in the gym, warming up, because the madness of the leaders is unimaginable and only get angry. Yeah. So Dick says, everyone poor suffering and smiling. Wow, it's anyway. Suffering and smiling, but for how long? Sometimes, let me tell you, people, I haven't been to Lagos in a long while because I've restructured my brain. I believe, stay in your own place. So that's why I only stay in my own place. If I got to fly out of Nigeria, I fly out from my own place. That's why I'm mad that they closed the only airport I use. But I remember when I used to still visit Lagos, and I stand at Odudua, and I play the song with my earpiece at Odudua roundabout. And I said, listen, Fela was a legend. Fela Anikbola Kuti was a legend, because that thing he said many years ago is just what is playing out. Now look at this picture. Look at this picture. Look at it here. Hold on. Let me remove this. Look at this picture. One is those who basically, hold on. Okay. Look at the picture. One is where the resources is coming from. The other is those that enjoy it. Now, for 1 second, ignore the native attire. Look at them, because from what is happening in the Niger Delta, the only thing that unifies the elite is dollar. It's the money they steal together, their children. We have seen a Malami, the Attorney General of the Nigerian state. His child went to, let me see if I can get that picture. I'm not digressing anyway. What I'm only doing this evening is just basically to look at the whole madness called Nigerian state. Because you say, if anyone who says Nigeria don't make you say it, I don't think you must be one of those that enjoy this thing. You must be one of those that enjoy the nonsense happening. Let me see if I can find this, because the thing, honestly, it makes one sick. That's all I can say. Yeah, and these are people. They tell you stay at home, social distance, just is because it's you. But when it is them, no one talks about social distance anymore. And again, even in this madness happening in the Niger Delta, Wike was just waded in. Wike said, he released a statement this evening saying, Rivers State government has viewed with concern. Let me actually see if I can push his statement on the screen here. So, and okay, look at Wike's statement here. Yeah. Yes, you can see that now. So Wike says that River State views with concern the recent development at the Niger Delta Commission (NDDC), in which the name of our daughter, Dr. Joi Nunieh, the immediate past acting managing director of the commission, has been dragged into. We hereby call on those involved in the ongoing investigation in the NDC to ensure that Dr. Joi Nunieh does not suffer any harm in the course of the undertakings. We wish to state categorically that the state government will never support any action that will prevent or jeopardize the laudable intervention of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, blah blah blah, to positively reposition the NDDC, fulfill the yearnings and aspirations. Now I ask myself, when did NDDC come to be? NDDC was created by Obasanjo when UNPAC was abolished. And where are we? Again, this is a clear call for the Niger Delta people. You are failing yourself. Niger Delta leaders, there is no how else I can say that. You are failing your people. You have a golden opportunity to rescue yourself from the shackles of misgovernance, but look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. From the shackles of misgovernance, you see, NDDC fails, you blame yourself because you are the one failing yourself. No, it's not. You know, the money is there, budgeted, given to you to help yourself, but here you are. You can't do the basic. Yeah. Let me see if I can get this video. Because the reason why I want to show this video is that there are two Nigerians, one for the elite and for those, you and I, who they just want nothing but to run us off the streets. That's all. What's happening? Okay. Sorry. I try this some other way. Hold on. Just trying to get that straight from my phone to it came in as a WhatsApp message. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Bear 1 second. Okay. Let me try once more. And for anyone, again, if you want to make any contribution, you can. If you so wish, you can also call WhatsApp only. If you want to make your contribution, because this, it's a collective thing that we must do. We must somehow liberate ourselves from this maddening cloud, from the maddening crowd. Sorry, the crowd of mad people everywhere. We basically had to somehow liberate ourselves, somehow detach ourselves from the whole nonsense happening. It can get, it makes one sick. That's all I can say. It makes one sick. Yeah. Okay. Let me show us this. Okay. I'm getting it now. So hold on. So look at this. This is what I mean here. This is the Malamese children having their wedding. Basically, the young chap is married to the Dantata family. But these are people who told you about the social distancing. Can you see how they are social distancing themselves here? Look at the crowd, and these are people that are governing you. Now, where is the mask, or where are the masks? So before YouTube, look at I have to take away the audio before YouTube takes claim on that because of the music that is playing on the background anyway. Yeah. Now watch this. Okay. So where is the social distance here? You can see the humongous number of people there. Where is the social distance? These are the children of the rich. And let no one say that that we are envious. No, we are not. It's not a matter of being envy. I think envious. I think is a matter of those that basically are in charge of governing you, doing all they can, and this is honestly unacceptable. Unacceptable that something like this should be happening in a place you think everyone should be equal, so to say, but it appears it is not. Anyway, on that note, I will leave us with those that I consider my greatest influencer in life. I'll leave you with these words. Where is my greatest Madiba? Now, this is what Madiba says, and this is from Igbo History and Facts Twitter page. He says, in 2013, Nelson Mandela described Chinua Achebe as the writer who broke down the prison wall, when he said there was a writer named Chinua Achebe who, in the company of his books, I felt the prison wall at Robben Island fell down. On that note, I will say we must endeavor and we must try and find our own Chinua Achebe in form of in form of something that has to reunify all of us to bring down the Nigerian wall, the wall of inequality, the wall that make people or convert people to change the mindset of people into corrupt people. Because just being corrupt people, that the things you and I ought to get, we are not getting them because we have cucumbers and we have carrots. Sorry, there's no way I can describe them better, because that's what they are. They all know how to loot. That's why I call them lootocrats. Yeah, that's why I call them lootocrats. Something. Kayode here once more say, let me take some comments, then I'll call it a day. But Mazi, wait, Mazi. There is something I really don't get. In the past week, or rather months, we have lost some prominent people. Do they live prominent? Do they living prominent reflect a little? You see, yeah, Kayode, the challenge you have is when you have a crop of thieves and their only reflection every single moment is there is a new Land Cruiser coming out, there is a new G-Wagon, there is a new Hilux. There is no time to reflect. Reflection is dead. You had a reflection when you had men like Mbono Ojike, men like late Chief Awolowo, men like the Sadoana, men who holidayed in Nigeria and went to London when they go for negotiations, when they needed a neutral ground. Men who built Obudu Ranch, men who wanted to take Zik, for instance, hate him or like him. You go to UNN, you see his house. You see how serene the vast land he had. He built a small house and he had vast land. So he comes in, he wants to hear the birds sing. Is there any way you go today, you will say, oh, this estate belongs to Chief Awolowo? No, they were men who understood life. They were men who could reflect. We have crops of thieves who their reflection is only the fatness of their account. Their reflection is only how to harm. We have men who no longer build. Before, we had men who were interested in building. That was why under the under the Republican Constitution, you had Awolowo talking of building the first television station basically before France. First television in Africa, if West Africa, if not Africa. You had men who wanted to leave legacy. You had the Sam Mbakwe, a man who governed 3 states of Abia, Ebonyi, and Imo State in one, with resources less than 20%, or let's say for argument's sake, let's say 50% of what the thieves we have today get. But you can see how prudently he managed them all. We can see how we had Golden Guinea Mine. We had ceramics. But today you have people collecting billions. The only thing they keep increasing is the size of their fleet, the number of cars in their convoy, and you watching me will be the one hailing them, His Excellency Kubuogidia. How can we be standing by and hailing thieves? Are we not ashamed? People who should be stoning are the ones we are hailing, Excellency, for stealing your money. Is he Excellency stealing? Are we not ashamed? Huh? Look at Niger Delta. Look at Niger Delta. They gave you your own NDDC. All you could do is just steal the contract to build your own house. What is wrong with your brain? What is wrong? Why do you only have coconut water in your brains? You destroy your region. You blow up pipeline. You destroy that same region. Hold your people to account and leave Abuja alone. Hold your people to account. I am beginning to think there is a conspiracy for people not to actually think and hold their people to account. Biafran League of Righteousness. How do you create an efficient tax system when there is no database for the citizens? A thief can buy 50 cars using different names. And you see, listen, that we talk about impossibilities because we haven't tried. I'll give you an example. My license expired, my driver's license expired December, that's last December. And I went to collect, because I was driving with the normally acknowledgement slip. So I went to the local government in Enugu to get my new driver's license. I've already paid for it. I paid for it online, paid with my card because I didn't want to deal with their rubbish. So, because it was a reissue. On getting there, I was told I cannot get that license if I don't have Anambra State tax code. I thought it was a joke. But when I spoke to them, and because I understand the implication of paying tax, I was happy actually that the state is thinking that way. Now, you need to find level of getting people registered. And on that, there and then, they said if I do it on my I think if I pay 200 naira, they will they can fast track it, use their data. And I felt like, okay, I tried I use Airtel. I tried my network on my phone. It was too poor. I think the guy had an MTN. So I gave him 200 naira. Within 5 max 10 minutes, he registered me and I walked away with a tax code. So Biafran League of Righteousness. What I'm saying is, if we start today to collect Nigerian data, and if we are serious about it, we will do it. Why is it that almost every single Nigerian has a BVN as long as you have a bank account? We can do it. I have explained to us here how, if we are serious, in 5 years, we'll lock down the nation. You can do it. You have BVN now. When they threatened people, oh, many people in diaspora, even then, when they threatened people, if you don't get BVN, you lose money. Nobody wants to lose 5,000 in his account, and only if what it takes is only for you to just walk into the bank. The day I walked into First Bank, my BVN didn't take me 10 minutes, and they issued me a BVN, right? And if it becomes simplified, people must get to. It becomes that everything is now done electronically, that you have a handheld device, the car sticker has a digital barcode, a policeman stops you, he doesn't need to speak to you, he scans that on top of your windscreen to know if that car is registered and to whom it's registered. You bring your driver's license, it scans the back of it. It doesn't need to ask you, it's just maybe asking you your name is a question of confirmation. There is way that we can use. I mean, the only thing that I can tell you honestly, my brother, is that the will is what we lack. The database can be created. I told us here how Odumegu, Festus Odumegu, the former MD of Nigeria, what's it called? Nigeria Breweries, was removed from Nigerian Population Commission by Kwankwaso and Co. because he stupidly said on the national TV what he was going to do, that the census of Nigeria was rigged ab initio by the British in favor of the northern Nigeria. And it was removed. It was part of the 2014 presidential campaign. You and I are all adults. We saw that happening. So saying that we cannot build a database, no, I don't agree. I am into IT project management. Therefore, I understand some of these things. We can do it, is only the will. When Chidoka was, that we can, you and I can register online now, do license online, was done by Osita Chidoka when he was the Corp Marshal of Nigeria Road Safety Corps. Therefore, it is the will and the political will and the political backing to do this. Why we keep talking this nonsense is because those in power does not want it. Everybody says no, this. Have you listen? When a governor comes in, he has 4 years. He has another. Most of them do 8 years. Tell me any one of them has federal government stopped you from taking actual census of your state? They're not interested. You know why? Because they're all thieves. They know that if my state of Anambra takes official census, Anambra might be less than 4 million. He's not interested in taking that census. They will still be arguing that Anambra state is 5.5 million because it's tied back to back to the amount of revenue they collect, because they're not willing to generate that revenue. They are only hoping on those handouts. That's why everything everything is rigged. I told us how in 2006, many of us were counted twice, even 3 times. Some people, what they were doing, I mean, a friend of mine from Ozobo told me, even another friend from Ekiti collaborated the same story that it happened in Ekiti. That means if I have someone confirming the same story in Ekiti, and I have the same person confirming in Anambra State, and myself as a witness, there is no other better way to say that every single part of Nigeria is mad, is rigged. You have in the north, some say, oh, they count cows. But in the south, you count in absentia. People, during census, people were counted in their absence. The communities contributed money, gave to the census officials to inflict figures. Why? Because Newi must not be in the same population figure with Ozobo. Let us give them money so that Newi will be more. I mean, that is primitive thinking. What is wrong with you? The same vein, Lagos is arguing that Kano has almost the same population, but Kano has 44 local governments. Then in election, Lagos will ensure that they rig, in the census, Lagos will ensure that they rig Lagos census result in order to continue that parity with Kano. There are some states, again, when we talk about, I had a conversation with Cheta over the weekend. I mean, he is into data mining in Nigeria, so he understands this more. His argument is that Nigerian population is about 120 or 140. Me, conservatively, I think we're not more than 130, 120 upwards, yes, but not even up to 150. Therefore, if you and I understand this, it now makes sense for us to begin to understand that the failure of governance is entirely collective. Not only the federal government, but state and local government. Do you know your councillor? How many of you watching me know their local government chairman? Have you ever seen him? If your local government chairman does not ride Okada, if he comes down from their useless SUVs and their convoys with a fleet of policemen, would you recognize him? No, you wouldn't, because you don't know him, because you don't care. The routes in the hinterlands, these are the routes that they ought to do, but their jobs are non-existent. All you hear is a governor goes there, flags off a road in a council, local government. All you hear is the governor goes there, he does this. The governor, the local government, what does he do? Shame on us that we grew up, when growing up in Enugu, I couldn't, from Onitsha, coming into Enugu, I couldn't drink the waters in Enugu. Going to Onitsha, I normally go with the borehole water, in this and that I will be drinking. Why? Because I didn't like the smell of the chloride that was in the waters in Enugu. Public water. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Borehole. But today, everybody just sinks borehole like mad people everywhere. And someone is equally coming to say you pay borehole tax. And we mad people everywhere. Huh? I don't know. I'll take some of your comments. Chijok, okay, hold on. Where did I stop? Okay. Kayode says, but wait, okay, no, sorry, Kayode, I've taken yours, pardon me. I have Eze Chijok. No Nigerian corporation can even run pure water business successfully. Anyway, you nailed it again. Mazi, good evening. To be honest, I think Nigeria are comfortable with looters. That is the only thing I can tell you. You see, I have come to the realization that every Nigerian is a looter in waiting. A looter in waiting. That's why they say when they go solidarity forever, they say a looter continua. Some people are now saying a looter continua. Because every single person you meet is someone waiting to loot. There is no difference. You have, like I keep saying it, you have men come into office. Okay, tell me, what can Okorocha now be remembered after governing Lagos State, Imo State for 8 years? What is it that he will be remembered for? Can you compare him, the money he has within, apart from that, he built massive house for himself, built for this one, what is it that he will be remembered for? Now take the same thing. Which other governor? But you cannot compare that to the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, that there are many things he can be remembered for. A man that saved millions of dollars for his own state in this generation, knowing that our economy keeps doing Janglova. Our economy keeps doing Janglova. Therefore, it's something that Senator Kazaure will be, Senator Kazaure, the guy from Kazaure, who said he will be doing like this, he's doing like this. So that's how the economy performs. But what we have this one coming and we call him a governor. He's on the national TV debate. He says, oh, why would he not spend the money? And you think in which planet does this man come from? And he was supposed to be a banker. He does not understand the principles of saving. If you're watching me now, you do not have the habit of saving. It doesn't matter how much, then, of course, two things you must do. You must save and you must invest. It doesn't matter how little. It doesn't matter how little. Within your means, you earn 20,000 and you spend 20,000, then you've never succeed. Take it to the bank. But that is a governor who was a banker, yet he didn't understand the basic principle of having a successful retirement. Kayode K says, thank you for that comment. It's really a pity. I don't want to have such shameless parents. Exactly all their praise singers are also part of it. I mean, the praise singers, we all see them. Okorocha comes into Imo State today. You think I'm joking. He comes in, you see people. And sometimes I just, reflect. If my parents were still alive, what would be this kind of conversation I would have with my mom if I had seen him saying Okorocha, I imagine how the kind of hours I would spend to lecture my mom why that thing is so bad. Now, talk less of myself, that I can just come out and look at a politician, someone who's told, and I want to praise him for Jesus Christ. It can happen. And that is the mentality that we must begin to cultivate. We must begin to shame them by our actions. Tony Bernard says, I was also watching one of the NDC directors when he said that he got a budget of 40 billion and spent 1.5 billion amongst him and his staff. Imagine, listen, obviously with this government, we have come to know, it started from the previous government anyway. Stealing money, if you steal money in millions, it appears you're a learner. That's why I call them all hush puppies, hush daddies, hush magus, and hush babies. All of them are hush something. All of them, all of them, hush puppies and hush daddies. That's what they are. Kayode, this is very painful. Just imagine, can I have a rest of mind having 1, 2, 3, 4 exotic cars here in Germany? Or Kayode, you're going too far. Listen, if people don't know when they come to Europe, they think people are silly. SUVs are meant for farmers, and maybe depending on where you live, in Europe. You see someone driving a Toyota Land Cruiser, you must be crazy if you're not into off-road. But in Nigeria, I mean, it's normal. That's a status symbol. They must climb it. And even in Igbo, they call them Okwotekenes, and that means standing up to salute the king. SUVs. Then you see them have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exotic cars. Even senators, like people like Dino Melayes, Hush Dinos. You see them there, standing, showcasing them. What value? We're no longer creating value. We no longer have inspiration for those. Have you ever seen a child growing up now, or people singing about professors? Growing up, there are people that inspired me. I was inspired by Ojukwu, by Chinua Achebe, by Professor Emekike, who captured me with his bottled leopard in secondary school. The Trial of Brother Jero in secondary school by Professor Wole Soyinka. But here we only have, if you don't have Mercedes, singing rubbish. If you don't have Mercedes, if you don't use Mercedes, they start rubbish. Who are those that inspire the young generations? Rather than look up to people that inspire them in the right direction, they will call you say that Mogu uncle. He doesn't want to boutique. And that's why we have the mess we have, both in the Niger Delta, both in the Southeast, but, just say the Igbo nation, including the Anambra nation, everywhere, north, south, east, west, the whole madness. You see someone, bullion van comes into his house at the eve of election and he's asking you, is it your money? No, he came to deliver pure water. And everybody's keeping quiet. Some people, nuts is gone off their brain, will come online and begin to defend their oppressors. You must unscrew your brain to stop defending your oppressor. You cannot keep defending your oppressor and want to make progress. Everybody goes to private school. Yet these are people, everyone that attended public school. I remember a conversation I had with my good friend from our group, sadly late now, when I came to reconstruct a school in my village in 2006, I believe. And he looked at me and said, "Maz, how come that you made money from Germany? You came to renovate school. You haven't built a house." You see, the madness that I feel that he doesn't understand is, if I build a house for me and my family, but here is a school that has the capacity to train up to between 500 and 1,000 students, pupils, right? Now, the school is like a Boko Haram ravaged Chibok town. You want to rebuild it, and someone is saying, no, use the money to maybe buy a car and make a big boy. It's in the mindset. The mindset. We cannot. Somehow we must, as individuals. Not that you see, if you have money, enjoy your money. If you make your money in genuine, of course, enjoy your money. But we must, especially those that occupy political offices, there must be some element of modesty. What we have here, the finest of houses, cars, everything is only made for them. Why? If you go to other countries, these are things exclusively reserved for public offices. In the countries, most of you are watching me, you are in Asia, you are in Europe. If you go to the public offices, that's where you see the finest marbles, because they know there is traffic there. Traffic, high density traffic coming in. That's why they use marble. But everyone now in Nigeria, they even use marble on the floor, use it on the wall, everywhere, just because they stole the money. Anyway, Kayode again, talking about legacy, will I ever see the children of these looters say, oh no, my God, I will. It was your father that built this and this, that your father was a good man. No, no. Again, nothing. And Obi Opurum. But when you start criticizing people like Okora Osa in Igbo and some people that screaming we are insulting our elders, no, please, let us address this. Criticizing, there is a difference between criticizing our elders and criticizing people who stole from us. I would say stole from us. If I haven't seen anyone defending the criticism of Ojo Zokal or Theodoji or Okorocha, I don't see any sane person. What people are saying is the criticism of those you have not elected and who are doing their best within the powers they can only exercise, which is the powers of soft power, the powers of soft negotiation and soft power. A clear example is, it is for me not acceptable that I'll look at someone who has never occupied any political post, and because he is doing what he can, you come in now, you say, Maaz is okay, because you are an elder after a certain age, that you're sabo, you're doing this. I would say, unless you're running nuts. the positions I have is the position of a social cultural organization that I am the president. I can only speak up against the things I consider injustice against my own people. I can only take maybe legal action as I have been doing. But anything more than that, I have no powers. If a road is not fixed, I can only write petitions. I can only criticize online. I can only do these things I'm doing now. There is nothing else I can do. I can't use my Oganadike to build it. There is nothing I can do. So please, let's make that distinction, please. Huh? Again, Obi, again, you said you create value in society when you out criminals in your society and not give them the title of elders. I think when you take out, again, it is a value system. I will tell you. Anyway, let me leave that conversation. Let me get to Kayode here. Mazi, good that you said that. I came back to set up a diabetes care unit for my people, and I was frustrated that I left. Well, you're not alone. While I had my kids in England, schooling in England, then I was building a school for the downtrodden in my community. And in building that school, the day we did foundation, someone came in at night and destroyed the foundation. A school that my kids, my generation, has outgrown and will never go to. But here you are trying to do good. But again, does that deter me? Did that make me run away? No, we can't. We cannot leave the space for cucumbers to take over, and that's why we are in the mess. You know, all the Nedeko guys that fought Abacha in the 90s. The reason why we had thieves coming in 1999 was because they didn't believe that Abu Salami would hand over, and they didn't take him serious, and they all stayed back. Suddenly we had a fleet of chiefs. They've now graduated and grown so much wing with humongous resources that they've stolen, that even if you divide the nation today, and that is, I got to tell us the truth, and that's what sometimes bogs my mind, that if you have Odudua nation, you have Biafra, you have the Igbo nation, or Republic of Igbo nation, as I call it, and that's the one I want. You have the Republic of Igbo nation, you have the Republic of Ijo, the Republic of this. These thieves, the monies are still with them. It's a question of a thief relocating home. So we are in a quagmire that something must be done. And again, you left. The community hospital in my community, again, people from Resin, if they're watching me, will know Ajam Hospital. I gave them, what's it called? You know what you call Zimmer frames and wheelchairs. And 1 year later, I came to the hospital. I nearly cried. There is all those wheelchairs I gave them, none of them was functional. None of the tires had air. And the only reason was because I saw when someone who had an accident, you don't know if he broke his spine, you don't know what happened, the way they were just someone holding him here, the other person on the leg, they drag him. I felt, okay, at least you can put someone on a wheelchair and wheel them in, if like the elderly, if any, when you're receiving treatment, people cannot walk to the toilet, you give them Zimmer frames. I tell you, 1 year later, those Zimmer frames were gone, and I felt like cutting myself. Are you talking about the is it? I think it's called Miyok Toshiba scanner. The gel they put on the top of the gel, this thing. They couldn't generate money from the services that they give to even buy the gel. So you give them scanner, you give them gel. I mean, most of us are individuals. We are individuals who can't do all these things alone. And these things, the reason why we do the little we can is because of the failure of government. If the NDDC, that is the topic of my discussion, were doing the things that they are doing, NDDC should be able to have a signature project that they have done today. Tell me the universities where they probably have their own hostels, where they have something functional. There is nothing. Is a club of where if you want to contest the election in the South, you go there, steal enough money in order to go and contest the election. I mean, it cannot continue that way. Tony Bernard again says, but Maz, in your sincere and honest opinion, is there anything that be done to remedy the situation or something that people are not doing? I believe that people are not doing enough, myself included. We are not excluding the thieves. They have perpetually made you hungry. And sometimes, because someone told me, Mazi, you are saying these things because you can comfortably feed yourself. Yes, I agree and I accept. Because I cannot get myself to the point of coming into your office to beg you for anything. That's why I can say these things. And because I don't bloody care. You don't pay me. All you can do is, if you're tired of watching me, you log off. There is nothing you can do. Because tomorrow you're not going to see me in Enugu, in Anambra, in Imo, in Abuja to come and ask you for contract. I don't bloody care. I'm comfortable in my own sense. So I'm free to say these things that we must begin to look them in the eyes, and as I've been doing here, and tell them that you're not doing the right thing. Have it ever occurred to you that every time people talk about Igbos have access to the sea, Igbos have access to the sea, they only tell you that when they are no longer governors. When they are governors, why couldn't they do their own channel to that sea they tell you that Igbos have access to? At least you know during Abio's time that he tried to work on what they call the Sakaba port or whatever. Right? And it's only when this former governor of Imo State, the ward that took over from Achiku Denwa, what's his name again? The one that that was accused of 419. His name escaped me. You know, the one that Okorocha took over from. Someone help me. Why is my brain frozen now? Is my brain now like a politician one? Before I start doing transmission. Someone help me out. Anyway, so I'll remember his name. I watched him one time. Yeah, Hakim, bless you, Obiopurum. Hakim, I watched Hakim one time talking about in the last election. Everyone is now Hakim everywhere. Thank you very much for reminding me. Yes, it's good that we are having an interactive conversation. You know, I watched Hakim talking about, I think he was talking about Azumri, that Azumri had access to the sea, that if Igbos do this think home philosophy, and sometimes, you know, you stand by the side and you think, oh, if this man, if you don't know him, you say, you give this man power, he will do wonders. Listen, he was a governor for 4 years. He never remembered Azumri. He was only interested in silly and nasty politics. It's only when he was kicked out of office that suddenly he remembered that, oh, there is a way to pipe Azumri. You dredge it, you link it to the Atlantic Ocean, then ship will come. It is always easier said than done. The question I keep asking people, even in your own personal capacity, what have you done? What have you done? Why many of you, why many of us cannot criticize them, cannot say anything, is because we are waiting. Most of us are waiting to hump in and go and steal. That's why you see them shouting His Excellency. Excellence in Israel, that's what they do. Excellency in stealing. That's what. Yes, I said it. Excellency in stealing, that's what they do. Our Uche M from Iceland. Uche, how are you? Our governors will use entourage to commission How we even got to the level of this commissioning nonsense beats me silly. That now everyone is mad. No local government in Niger Delta can even do common cleanup of their own common gutter in front of your house. We are all idiots. You can't even clean your own gutter. Pay tax, you won't. Clean gutter, you can't. But we all are suffering from malaria that we can all deal with in our own little way. When COVID came, I think that was Abia, where they are trying to, just a joke, trying to fumigate and say, this thing it's like they're just trying to perfume the mosquitoes with that kind of level of fumigation. And the individuals are doing the same. The governments are doing the same. You can only see madness happening everywhere. Madness. And sometimes I just wonder, am I going nuts that these things keep hurting me? Am I going nuts? In my own state, we have a governor. Some of you are obviously, I've been seeing some of your messages, sending me photos that the governor of my state is building the airport. I challenge you, go and record a video of that airport today. Send it to me, I'll publish it. Orondo Rico, airport. No. Maz, what do you think about 1 million march on Land Act is not the first step to chase the gangs of the land? 1 million march is right step in the right direction, and it's something that I think I support. I support because it is a way to show our distance and our, disapproval that we are asking you to legislate on open grazing to minimize the death of our people, and you're not doing it. Beyond 1 million march, election will come again. Do not elect cowards and idiots. Ask them questions. If you tell us you cannot come in and within 6 months you move a motion for open grazing, because why we blame governors? We have assemblymen, hallelujah boys, I call them. That's why Imo State, that was PDP. The Okorocha, what's it called? Hakim, no, not Hakim. Ihedioha was removed within a space of how many hours? All of them without shame, all of them just changed party. Now tell me, all those type of hallelujah boys, how would they ever do something for the common good? And many times, because we had actually boycotted the elections and didn't vote and didn't care about who came in, you see why it keeps hurting us. Imo State is a peculiar case because of the governor. But take that case, out of 36 governors, exclude one. Anambra State, they gave him 16 over 16 hours, whatever they call it, that he won in every local government. We're seeing how he won now. Enugu State is the same thing, that he won everywhere. And the Nike Road, I think, and Njenje Media published it a couple of days back. That was done just a couple of months back. 2 weeks later, rain fell and just washed it as if it washed sand off the surface. So where would you start? Where would you end? The only state that appears to have a man with common sense appears to be Ebonyi State. And again, I keep saying it. You see, without being prejudiced, I only have about 4 governors that have tickled my fancy. One is Professor Zulung of Bunu, and Makinde, Dave Umahi. These are men that understand that. Not, you see, the problem is not that I don't want to praise them. I don't want to be a person, but in the land of the blind, one man is the king. These are men that are barely scratched the minimum, and we praise them that they are doing well, but they are barely scratching the minimum. Go to any governor that you know today, in their houses, they have electricity, solar powered. One solar panel, one solar street light. Check it on eBay. Check integrated street light. It's about less than $50 or $60. One. That we cannot buy so many and light up our street light, our streets. They won't do it. They won't. We lack accountability. Mamazi Madike says there is no accountability. Of course, there is no accountability, and there will be no accountability as long as you and I does not hold them to account. There is no accountability from the federal government to the state. That's why you hear all this nonsense happening. Someone says, we only took, you're accusing us of taking 10 billion, but we only took 1.5 billion. Nah. We only took, as if actually I'm just, I didn't steal, but I only stole 1.5 billion. Our collective docility enables these looters to waste. Spot on. Our collective docility. Our collective docility. The problems with election in Nigeria is that people votes don't count. No, not entirely true, sir. Not entirely true, my brother. Not entirely true. In Enugu State, did you vote someone else? In Anambra State, did you vote someone else? I keep telling my brothers, the only way we can make this change is for us to join forces together. If we know those principles, those minimums that we you see, if we have a force that says we can mobilize 2 million votes for you in this state and make you a governor, but these are the conditions, these are the things you will do. We're not taking money from you. See, no money is being taken from you. Then we'll begin to change. But you cannot expect a politician to spend maybe 10 billion, 15 billion becoming a governor, and they think he comes to run a charity shop. Come on, unless you're not serious. If Anya Anona says, Maz, let me be sincere with you. If I'm in the military in right? Nah, my mouth no go talk that one before Buhari come break my door. This one I don't have light. Darkness everywhere outside. So before they come break the door, arrest me. My mouth no talk that one. I can only share that one on the screen. We are not serious. Today, the Senate passed a bill saying if you kidnap, is life imprisonment. And I think the same goes for rape. I can't remember, but the one I know vividly I read is for kidnapping. I said, that's fine. That's kidnapping a human being. But what of those that kidnap our treasury? What happens to them? A man of no means, that does nothing, but he has a private jet. And we are all celebrating. Beke, Mazi, I don't know what is wrong with all the greedy people. I don't know. Sometimes I think, I don't know why, because I keep asking, are some of us not born the way they were born? Why did all these things go wrong? Why? Sorry. Why and where did all these things go wrong? Why is it that they would, not see these things that you and I see? But sometimes they do, but it is when it's only late, when they've finished their tenure, that they will see. We Uchenna Okemo says, Europeans of today are enjoying the revolution of those before them until there comes a revolution like the French Revolution of 1789, well forever. You see, every generation has a peculiar thing. Remember, Nigeria is not French. Nigeria is not France. We had revolutionaries, even to the point that some of them was called Revolutionary Military Council. Go and read Kogo Gideon Okaku. You see the revolutionary in their thinking. But it failed. Why? We must understand history to understand why these things fail in Nigeria. Today, we have, for instance, during the Abiola saga, it was considered a Southwest issue. During the 60s, when you had the Operation Wait here, it was considered a Southwestern problem. When Ngige was kidnapped as a governor, it was considered a Southeast affair. When Ganduje was seen on camera pocketing dollars that ran in millions of dollars in full glare of camera, it was considered a northern affair. Now, the NDDC issue, why there is no national outrage, is because it's considered, well, Niger Delta, you they do yourself. Does that explain to you why you may not have a revolution? The revolution, which again, I think Nzogu was, if I was Nzogu, I wouldn't do that coup, knowing the things I know today. But the killings, why the coup was eventually tagged an Igbo coup is very simple. Because Nigeria is not a nation like French that will have a nationalistic outlook. You tell me, I think the solution will be regions Yorubas deal with your own thieves. Igbos deal with your own thieves. Niger Delta deal with your own thieves. You know what we call boys so here? Growing up in Onitsha, we do have boys so here. When Otondo was so notorious that people of Onitsha, Fege, woke up one day and said, Otondo, enough is enough. Today, we've drawn a line. And after that day, there was no more Otondo. People could actually leave their wallet on the street of Ochanja and go back and come back. The wallet will still be there. Because the people decided. And in Nnewi, in the 90s, people live in Nnewi. Then there was no this electronic transfer. People live in Nnewi with cash. In Ghana must go. They load cash. Go to Nnewi, enter luxurious bus, go to Lagos to buy goods. That's the way they roll that time. And before you leave your shop, they will just shoot you over. I was almost a victim in 1996 at in front of QRC, Oka Road, Onitsha. What saved me that I'm alive speaking to you? What was my crime? I had I had a shoe that I took to shoemaker. So normally I don't know, many of you might know it, Opanka, one brown Opanka that time. So I had an Opanka that the sole, the sole is like foam. So the sole are just down. So there's one man at Oka Road that does a perfect, you remove that Opanka sole, put another sole and do it. You basically have a brand new Opanka. On coming out, I had that black leather bag. The next thing I had, dropped that bag. I looked back. I thought it was a joke. That's one man and Okada. Dropped that bag. I looked back, because it didn't register that, somebody would just Opanka, slippers. Drop that bag. I looked at it again. When I now saw the pistol, I dropped the bag and ran. Maybe because I delayed. That's a thought I was having after, maybe because I delayed, I didn't obey immediately. So the moment I ran, there was a signpost in front where they do that time. I think is an Alumaco company in front of QRC. The moment the signpost was like this, the moment I just went like this, under it, because the people in the shop had goods that covered this side, and here is gutter. So if I had gone beyond that gutter, that is now on the road. So the moment I just went under the signpost, the next thing I had on that signpost, bah, that was bullet. I mean, and everyone, immediately they had that bullet, everyone scrambled, everyone just ran into their shops, some locked their shops, because it was the order of the day. This was in 1996. But when the Anambra people said enough is enough, Bakassi came up. Their modus operandi could be questionable, could be called brutal, but he did the job. So to your question, my brother, the thing that I'm talking about is to Uche Okenwa. That revolution, a nationalistic revolution, failed in '67. It was started on Igbo coup. It failed again and again and again, and it failed again in 1991, and it will never work. What you can have is regional cleansing. Because imagine for 1 second that many people condemn what happened to Ekweremadu in Germany. Imagine for 1 second what happened to Ekweremadu in Germany was done by the Hausas, or that Ekweremadu was Saraki, and the Igbos did that. Do you understand what I mean? So it will take really, really, the nation is too divided that we would, I don't know. That's why I keep saying, because I believe if we go back to Aburi Accord, where we have sort of a confederation that let's say even if the old Eastern region doesn't no longer become a country, that you have the Southeast and you have even the South-South. But one thing is that you have a confederation. The Southeast can become a nation of its own. Now, with other federating units or other confederating units with a common currency, where you will have maybe a premier of the Eastern region who is the president. We know his house. The police commissioner that will be from the Southeast is a person we know. We know he's from Enugu. We'll write him a letter that Okozo, the thieves in Okozo, call police, are kidnapping our brothers and our children. And he doesn't want to react. Then we can say we do 1 million march to his house in Enugu, or to his house in Okeja, or to his house in Bende. But here, the commissioner of police is from Adamawa or maybe from Nasarawa. There's nothing you can do. You don't even know him. You don't even see him. So you see the disconnect. That's why security is local. But at the end of the day, if these things are not happening, there is nothing you can do. As long as tribal and religious card exists for the thieving politicians to play, there will be. But this is, you see, the thing is, we can, through these conversations, cure ourselves from these tribal cards. That's why I've been calling for the unification of the southern Nigeria, because if you want to free yourself from this mess, no region can do it alone. In this sense, you can have collaboration. You see, the reason why, even during the time they did the Goodluck Jonathan campaign, the campaign against Goodluck Jonathan, it succeeded in Lagos, but it didn't succeed in the Southeast, because the Southeast just is our man. The North, we are still, apart from Abuja and Kano, and probably Kaduna, other ones we are still looking at it because, but there is something that can happen. It will be against a whole people of Niger Delta. You can see the Niger Delta get angry and come out. Yeah, you can see the Yoruba nation get angry and come out. But you expect something. The Yorubas will say, let's say for instance now, something happens to Tinubu, and you feel okay, it's an injustice to him. Someone will say, leave him, no be Tinubu. You don't have that same emotional attachment to the other. Something happens to Ganduje. You see Ganduje, or what's it called? What they call the Kwankwaso, the Kwankwasias. They have their own movement. You don't have that same attachment with them. Okay? Some of us, if you ask us, who is the best man to be president? You name 3 people, blah, blah, blah. You say, okay, something happens to Peter Obi, for instance. Some of us will protest. But someone in Lagos will say, do I know him? It doesn't concern me. Because it is that individual is detached. The construct of Nigeria as a nation is so artificial that you have to remind people all the time that this is a nation, because there is nothing. The nation has not given you anything to be proud of. Look at individuals that you have given scholarship to study in England and you cannot pay their tuition. If by virtue of anything these people ever graduate, you think they will regard the nation as anything? No. So, but if I tell you that I'm an Igbo man, it's not that I'm being ethnically inclined. What it means is, even if tomorrow Nigeria does not exist, I remain an Igbo man. You can't take it away. But for me to be a good Nigerian, I must first of all be a good Igbo man. If I'm not a good Igbo man, then I can't be a good Nigerian. The same thing applies. If you cannot be a good Hausa man, a good Yoruba man, a good Efik man, you cannot be a, Nigeria is like European Union. Until we begin to see it that way. Nigeria is like European Union. You cannot be a good European Union citizen without, first of all, being a good English, German, French, Spanish citizen. That's the way it rolls. Mazi, at this juncture, I'm contemplating becoming a Oh dear. I take that as a joke because I would never ever advise you to become a Yahoo, and neither in your personal life or in your governmental life. But one thing that I keep saying is, in the midst of the maddening crowd and madness, there is an element that those individuals that still do good, I would enjoin you too. Because it gives me joy. Like I tell us, my greatest joy was when I finished building the school. The school had about as of that time, 137 pupils. And the next time I requested for their updated records, and they were 520. And I was talking to myself, without intervening in this school, how could I have helped over 300 students or pupils? I couldn't have, because I don't have the resources, I don't have the means. If I had given them money individually, it would have amounted to nothing. 300 and something people, even if I gave them 10,000, which I don't have, but at least by that virtue of intervention, and if that intervention actually led that eventually Anambra State under P2B, that each community got their at least a classroom renovated using the template that I had done in Exinifite. So somehow, I don't know, I don't have the answer, but it's a conversation that I would want us to keep having. I mean, if not for anything, you see how the conversation has been flowing. When we talk about insults, it's not that, we don't all get angry. But if a conversation is civil, people will join. We are over 100 here, typing, watching, listening to me, asking these questions. And I'm giving you my honest opinion, how I think about these things. Because you and I, you might be watching me, you might think you're in Asia, you're in Europe, you're in America. But think about it. You're in your 40s or your 50s. In the next 20 years, would you still have that same energy? Don't you want to have a better society you want to come back to? If you are already in Nigeria, some of you have houses in the villages. You are now in Lagos, like us in Enugu. We might just have, a dream. I want to go back to live in my village. But if those village that you want to go back and live and retire and just have a restful pension like your dad, like my dad, and our moms, our parents, if they are being overrun by people we could have stopped now by only legislating that we're not saying don't sell cow, but you don't move cow on the road. You can't go to London or Germany and see cows moving. If cows have to move across the road, the only thing you see moving on the road is maybe horses, right? And you see them, the riders have, these yellow visible vest that they do. The only time you can see them move on the road is if you have a tarred road demarcating a farm that they want to move the cows to the other side of the farm to graze. In that case, it does not make sense. I mean, I've seen that in Bayan a lot. When I work in Bayan, driving on the in the Egefing area, I see that a lot. That you see them, these cows can graze, but not just coming into somebody's farmland and destroying them. And the only thing you're asking for us to have sanity is to say, okay, stop, because federal governments now cannot stop it because they appear to be accomplices. They have no interest in stopping it. They're only probably interested in taking your land, and the land they are taking, they're not taking it to do a grazing or rather a ranch. Rather, they want you to give them a route. I mean, it's pure madness. But the only way you can stop it is by your state assembly. Again, not your governor. That's one thing I want us to understand. If you don't take anything from me, take it from today. It's not the governors. Because everybody blames the governors. The governors. No. States assemblies can force the governors too. So if the state assemblies cannot force the governors, that means the governors have pocketed them. That means they are not even better. You electing governors tomorrow, nothing will happen. They are the lawmakers. I want to see in any state in the southern Nigeria where there is Barakboism, where there is conflict, and the conflict is that the people through their representatives said they want to ban open grazing, and the governor says no. I want to see that conflict, and let us see where you and I, the people, and who the people will support. But we're not seeing it. It means we're not getting governance from the government, from the executives. No, that sounded like executives. And we're not getting governance from the legislators, in this case, the state legislators, not only the one that sit in Abuja, that's our legislators as well. Okay, so Alex Onyama says, brother, these people, they need mental assessment because the last governor of Imo State did it in his life will be to the police, of the stolen blah, blah, blah. Again, like I said before, they only learn when they are no longer in office. For Nigeria to even survive this long while operating a central system of government is a multi-ethnic country is mind-boggling. I believe the experiment has not only been overstretched, the experiment, is a disaster. The experiment is a disaster. I think, the beginning of government was not, in the beginning, the government wasn't maybe too how do I put that? The government, the first coup was too quick to react, because I honestly believed that if there wasn't that coup after the first election, second election, third election, by now, sadly anyway, like I argued with Chata over the weekend here on this program when we talked about the Igbo East and the Igbo West, the challenge we have is that those founding fathers actually didn't understand governance. They didn't understand the configuration of Nigeria, as it were. I don't blame them. Some of them they were youthful, and they were, some of them had limited knowledge about governance, and the reason why some structures were put in place, they only saw that as, okay, now we can now govern ourselves, without necessarily understanding what the whole point of governance was. On that note, I will thank you all. Our state legislators are useless and baseless. Exactly, but then we'll stop electing them. Please. You and I can stop this madness from happening. Start electing them. When you see people who don't have money but have ideas, you and I won't vote them. People are happy taking 5,000. A man that pays you 3,000, pays your mom 5,000 to vote for them, would exact minimum of 100,000 from that same 5,000 that he or she has given you. On that note, I thank you all for joining me on this conversation this evening. This is something that's been bugging me. On that note, I will say good night all.